It's the 11th, it's 6:30 p.m. We're having a working session today. Let's start with a roll call. Ray?
Here.
Dennis?
I'm here.
Nancy?
I'm here.
All right, and I am here, Rick, and Mandy is not here at this time. Guests that we have are Eugene, Rita, Marcia, Brian, Carl, Dan, and James. There we go. So I'm gonna call this meeting to order. So this is, like I said, this is a working session. We're here to talk about a couple of items. I appreciate all of you showing up. Just keep in mind, this is a working session. This is for the council members and myself to discuss some issues of concern that we need to work through so we can get some resolution. We will not be taking any input or asking for input of the audience today. If you have things that you want to discuss, I'm available tomorrow from 11 to 12. And also we have council meeting tomorrow night where our public forum will be open. This is more for us to work through the issues so we can deal with them tomorrow, okay? All right, so with that said, our first thing that we're going to discuss is finding a way forward regarding animal control. So does anybody want to jump in on that?
Me and Dennis went down and we checked out our old, and James was with us yesterday, we went down and looked at the old dog pound that we have down there in the old swimming pool. And from looking at it, I bet we could probably get that up and going after we, dotted our I's and crossed our T's for well under $1,000.
What type of work does it need?
It needs a little bit of grouting in the bricks and some new dog doors, or at least covers for the dog doors.
So dog doors are old metal slides that are not sliding at this time. I would recommend replacing them, so we don't have any metal objects in there. Chain link for all the cells needs to be stretched and tightened. We need new door locks on the doors. But basically it's good bones. We have a good structure. We have the roof is good, the shingles are bad. Eventually we would have to replace the roof, but it doesn't show to be leaking at this time. There's no water marks on the inside. There's no broken rafters. We have 4 cells at this time down there. I would recommend 2, just bringing 2 up at this time, and not all 4 at once.
Okay.
There is no power, there is no water.
That's one of the reasons I'm not sure that that's probably the best solution, because somebody would have to keep running down there to feed the dogs, water the dogs, and then we have to haul water to clean the kennels. We have to keep them up. And so that's my concern about housing them here. We really don't have the personnel to do it.
How's the exterior fence?
The perimeter?
Yeah.
The perimeter fence is decent. There is some voids in it. It could be restretched.
Is there access to power down there close?
Not at this time that we've discussed.
Probably not water either, right?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
But we also have to realize we are only looking at housing animals for 5 to 7 days max. Isn't that what we discussed?
Yeah, there's a little bit more to it. I'll cover that in a minute. But
That's
yeah,
fine.
in general.
In general, that's
Yeah.
what we were looking at.
Yeah. So it's a temporary hold.
No matter where, if we're gonna house an animal here, we would have to have personnel make sure they were fed and watered. We're talking about getting something up soon, possibly, cost-wise would be a very cheap resolution to this. Not saying that is what we need to do, but we did look at it as full bones that we can actually work off of.
And talking to Jamie, he said that he only used Metro 4 times in 19 years. Oh, they had that contract going. So
I know we wouldn't use
this
it a lot.
would be this would definitely be a little more cost efficiency than. I mean, I understand we'd have to have somebody haul water, but James said he could do that.
But it's more than that. I mean, you still have to haul the water, you have to feed them, you
Yes.
have to, they need electricity. And You know, somebody finds out their dog's down there, what's to stop them from going down and vandalizing and taking, or if somebody's knows the problem dog is down there, what is to stop them from going down and shooting the dog? Which is going to cause, you know, the Hatfields and the McCoys.
We can put cameras up. They have,
I-
we have technology to put a camera up. There are, like they have it up at the gun range in Edgerton, they have a camera that reports in remotely to a laptop.
And as far as like lights and that, you could go with some solar lights, we talked about that. You know, but kinda like what they did at the park, use a bigger solar lights, cause you really don't need to light up the whole yard, you just need to light up your building and that. And
And it appears the dog problem is amping up, because I know there's problem dogs in Edgerton. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. No, go away. I'm so sorry. It appears that it's amping up, so I know the two dogs in Edgerton. I drove home from Aaron's house, and I had my dog with me, parked in front of my house on Lewis Street, got out. Two big dogs from across the street ran at me, barking, and they were aggressive, and I was concerned for my safety, let alone my little dog. Some guy finally came out and was yelling at him, but they were like, and I was like, I don't know where you are, can I get my dog out? I mean, she's corgi, and this was like a pit.
Alright, so I asked, you know, you to look into that, you guys did. I initially liked the idea of housing them here, but I met with Casper yesterday morning. I took James down with me as a code enforcement, and we met with Captain Dabney, who's over the whole animal control bill down there, and a girl named Jody Decker, who actually manages the metro. So I took a bunch of notes, in fact, I'm gonna pass them out to you, and we can go through them a little bit so you understand, you know, that side of the realm, because if we do it local, or if we go out, you know, look at both sides and see what works. So, yeah. And I'll go through this and give you a little bit more details. So I also, did I make copies of these? So last week, after we had our first session, Travis Hart came in here and he had done some research on stuff, and he met me at my hour, you know, open door, gave me this stuff. It might not make sense to you, but basically what it is he did some research on the internet and found all these facilities or grants, things like that we could look into. So I did look into a bunch of them. I don't, at this time, without, you know, for an immediate fix, because we're in a crisis, I consider this a crisis. These really don't work for us at this time. I did reach out to a couple of them. I know one of them was, let me find it here, St. Francis Animal Rescue up in Buffalo. And I didn't get the response I was hoping for from them. So I'm kind of seeing that pattern that these aren't going to work for us in an immediate need type situation. So it's good information, it's good to review. Maybe some of this we could actually look at further down the line, but I don't think right now. But I wanted to share these with you. So if you guys wanted to kind of do a little research on your own, that's available to you. So as far as Casper goes, I met with them, and I come up with kind of a basic town plan if we used Casper. So, and this is where I'm looking at, I don't have everything filled in, this is kind of a general idea of a basic Midwest town plan if we use Casper. Midwest Animal Control Officer, which we appoint, which would be James, would catch the animal. Midwest Animal Control Officer, again James, checks animals, see if they're registered in Midwest. If they are, he does everything he can to return them to the owner, unless they're a problem animal. If they're not registered, he transports them, or if they're a problem animal, he transports them to Casper Metro and turns them over to them, if we have a contract with them. James at the same time can go on social media, let the town know that we caught an animal, whether it's on the loose, whether it's registered or not, so we can try to get the owner to get that animal back. Or let them know where the animal is so they can go get it from there. If that's down in the shelter. So kind of a shared endeavor with the population, with the residents, so they can find their animal if they need to. Again, citations, we have a lot of people that still haven't registered their animal, so this would also tie into issuing citations to people that haven't registered their animal, or if, animals on the loose, whatever we might need to do depending on how far it goes. I always want if we know there's a registered animal, it just snuck out of the yard, I want to get it back as quick as possible if it's not a problem child type of animal. It happens all the time. My dogs have gotten out and my neighbors have wound them up, or posted a picture on Facebook and somebody else said, oh, that's Rick's dog. I'll put it back in the yard because I was out of town, or down the road or whatever. Same time, kind of educate the community on animal control measures. And all this kind of thing, like I said, if we had a process in place with using James as the animal control, either way, whether it's here or in Casper, be able to help educate the community, help keep the community safer, and get animals at large off the streets. So with Casper, when I met with them, I talked to them about their prices. And I think we had a meeting, if I remember right, Ray, about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And at the time we discussed, as I recall, the number kept coming up like 6,200.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
minimum price.
Right, and at the time I didn't understand the depths of it, but and that was too much money for us. We can't afford that kind of thing. However, sitting down with the captain and the manager there yesterday, I got a better breakdown of it. So what they would do is they base everything off of population, and they charge you a percentage based on your population. In our case, we would be charged whatever their total amount is, 0.39%, or this paper is outdated, so it might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less. She's gonna give me the numbers by tomorrow, but basically $3,200 a year. And what that means, the $6,200 a year that we talked about 2 years ago, so there's two parts to it. The $3,200 is for only using Metro to drop off animals, have them take care of the animals, and then it gets out of our hair permanently, we never deal with it again. The other $3,000 was if we wanted them to come up here, catch the animal, take the animal back, kind of dog catcher kind of thing. So I don't see the purpose in that. If we have a dog catcher or an animal control person here, we don't need to spend that $3,000 to do that because we have somebody here local. So like I said, it'd be about $3,200 a year. They would charge us on a monthly basis. I think my math was like $260, $270 a month. So, and I'll get into that a little bit more now. So basically $3,200 a year is what it would cost us if we used just Metro to basically take the animal there and they take it over from there. We have nothing to do with it again for the most part. So the pros that I came up with is, like I said, right now we're in a crisis. There's kind of perfect storms going on. We can actually set up a memorandum of understanding with Metro within just a day or two. Basically, Jody would send me a contract online, and I would sign it, and the clerk would sign it on DocuSign. And it's done, we have something in place, we can start using them right away. So there's no downtime. It could be as quickly as tomorrow or Friday. So that would be the good part there, we'd have something in place right away. They also offered our animal control officer to receive some various online training that they use on how to handle animals, how to deal with animals, various things like that. So they offered that up. They would give our animal control officer access to Metro 24/7. So even when they're not in their facility in Casper, James could still get in to put an animal in there. So we wouldn't have to hang on to it here over a weekend or anything like that. Along with our ordinances here, Metro will hold an animal for our required 3 days. Basically, our requirement is 5 days. It's 3 days for the owner to reclaim the animal, with an additional 2 days for the animal to possibly be adopted. Casper's policy, they would meet our 5 days, and they would also extend it out actually to 7 days because that's Casper's policy. So, and that would be no charge to us. So they would hold the dog for 7 days, no charge to us. Metro, let's see here. Metro would take full custody of the animal after the required hold time to where we wouldn't have to deal with it ever again. So it's kind of a fire and forget. The memorandum of understanding would allow Midwest residents also to coordinate with Metro if they had an animal that they could no longer take care of. So let's say, you know, you buy an animal and 6 months into it, it's just not learning, you can't handle it, or you can't afford it, or whatever the case may be, you need to get rid of the animal. Right now, we have no way for our residents to relinquish an animal other than take them out in the middle of nowhere or just trying to find somebody privately to take them. So with this contract, a resident could actually call up Metro and say, hey, I've got an animal, I need to relinquish it. What do I do? And Metro would set up an appointment with that resident and sit down with him and give them all the options of a Humane Society or whatever they have set up. They would try to give them options of how to get rid of that animal in a better light kind of thing. And then if they can't do it, Metro would take that animal, but they would charge the resident a fee. It's not outrageous, but as a final solution, they would take the animal and charge the resident a fee. So having that contract allows the resident to get rid of an animal they can't take care of anymore for whatever reason. And we can't do that now. Like if somebody had, say, a dog now and they want to get rid of it, they can't walk into Metro and say, here you go, because we don't have a contract with them. So on another note, something that we've never discussed, and I didn't think about it either, is feral cats. So we have a lot of feral cats in the community. Something that they do is they will take the feral cats from us. We bring them to them. They will spay or neuter them. They return them to us, and we bring them back here and let them out again. Apparently that's a program they have, and I don't remember what it's called, but it allows the community to eventually have total control of the cat population. It would take a while, depending on how active we are in it, but that's a way to get our cat population into control, no cost to us, and we just move forward with that. And kind of my thought process, you know, as we look at it is, hey, if we had an animal control person like James, you know, once a week he could put a couple of traps out, catch 5 or 6 or 10 cats or whatever, take them down to Metro, drop them off. Metro will spay or neuter them, and when they're done, they would call James up and say, come get your cats. And he'd bring them back out here and basically let them out wherever he picked them up at. And again, that would help our community not have overpopulation of cats. I guess Casper is, whatever their plan is, they see in the future they will actually get that under control by 40% within the next, I want to say, year or two. So it's a positive thing for us. We're not forcing cats to be euthanized. They're not out there getting, that kind of thing because we're just getting overpopulated with cats. There's a way to control that population in a positive manner. Because we all know cats have a purpose out here. So, but again, we just don't want to be overrun with cats. This one shocked me. They will actually take chickens. So if somebody doesn't want their chickens, they can take it. They'd be able to take it to Metro, or if we caught a chicken on the street somewhere, we could take it to Metro. A little bit about the way the money works with them, besides the fees they got, or the cost to us each year, is so kind of I'm going to call it a double dipping. So basically, if we catch a dog on the loose and we take it down there, and we can cite the individual for the dog, go in front of the judge, and they'll get their fine, and that's money for us. Okay. At the same time, if Metro has the animal, and somebody goes down there and says, hey, that's my dog, I want it back. Say after 3 days, they charge that person $15 a day to get their dog back. So it's not a whole lot of money, but that's how they recoup, food and stuff like that from the person, the individual. Now, if an animal has to be held because of a court order or something like that, it works differently. That's $40 a day during that time, and that would also go, that could go to us, or it could go to the individual. If it goes to us, then we can turn around and put it on the individual that wants the dog back, or it goes straight to the individual. That's just kind of one of those, depends how it works out. As far as funding, I sat down with Sally, because that's one of our biggest concern, is just how are we gonna fund this? And luckily, it's half of what I always thought it was, which is a plus right there in itself. But we can fund it through, we have a revolving, what I wanna call it here, revenue that comes in from the cooling bond. So we could actually pull the money, we'd have to vote on it, like tomorrow or whenever, to move that amount of money, or however much money we decide, into another account dedicated to this program. And then we can keep it going that way. And that revenue always comes in, so we wouldn't be scratching for money a year from now to keep it going. So Metro has a program to right now, as part of the cost to us, is, let's say they have a washing machine that goes out. They would, if they go to replace that washing machine, they're gonna charge us 0.39% or whatever that washing machine costs to replace it. So, I mean, it's not a high ticket item, so if you're buying a $500 washing machine, you know, what is that, $40 or $30 or $20 or whatever it is. If it's something bigger than that, it depends what it is, but they're not gonna gouge us on some outrageous thing like an HVAC or nothing like that. But on that same note, they're actually getting a brand new Metro facility next year that's paid for by the 6-cent tax, and everything in it will be new. It will have the warranties and all that stuff, so it'll be quite a while before anything hits the fan as far as it's applicated. I don't like that one, but it's just part of the deal. But it didn't sound like it was an out of control kind of thing. So the one thing that we would have to do, like I said, because we are not going to use them for catching the animal. That would be, in this case, James's job. He'd have to catch the animal. They won't come and pick it up, so we'd have to take the animal to them. So that's, I'll say that's one of the downfalls, is we don't get that service because we're not going to pay that extra $3 grand for that service. So I don't see the point in it. Put it that way. So other than catching and transporting animals, Midwest would not have to handle logistical issues in a lot of ways. Like, for instance, other than maybe an hour or two while we're waiting to go take the dog or cat or whatever to Casper, we don't have it long term. We just have it long enough to get it in the car and take it down there, whatever the schedule works out. But we wouldn't be keeping them overnight, over the weekend, anything like that. We wouldn't have to worry about maintaining, repairing, or upgrade any kind of shelter or animal control compound. We wouldn't have to maintain any type of food backstop for an animal. So these are just the pluses that I can think of as I was going through all this. Again, out there, we don't have a water source, not only for drinking, but for cleaning the area, and also sanitizing the shelters and all that stuff. So we'd have to actually bring in some type of water truck or something, and have some type of power washer out there that would have to be gas power washer because we don't have electricity, so there's just a little bit more logistics. No electricity we have for lighting, security, or camera system, so that would be an issue. I know there's cameras out there that run on their own. I think those trail cams are on their own on batteries or whatever. So, but overall, we don't have anything out there to kind of, no heat source or cooling source. So a concern that I had is if we put an animal out there in 100-degree weather, that's an issue. Probably the bigger issue is the wintertime, when we're hitting freezing temperatures and we don't have a way to heat those kennels down there. We'd have to find an alternate place to put them. In here, I don't know. Which really would be conducive to what we're trying to do if we kept them here for 5 days, or if we have to keep them longer because of a cord hold. So that's where I was getting at with the cord hold. Even with us, if there's a cord hold, we may have to hold a dog for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months or whatever, and that would become also a logistical issue. So like I said, we'd have to make alternative arrangements for an animal in that case. We have to have, if we did it here, we'd have to have a process, what do I call it? Oh, and also a process for refuse removal, so we'd have to clean up down there, get rid of, all the dog excrement or whatever, that kind of thing. We'd have to have some type of 24/7 security protocols to prevent predator attacks. I haven't been down there to look, but I'm assuming that maybe something could get in there, possibly. I don't know, coyote or whatever, or if we have little dogs down there, because where are we gonna put a little dog? It's the same kind of thing. Pet owner breakouts, because we don't have direct eyes on, so we may have somebody that's just gonna push to the limit, and they don't wanna pay the fee to get their dog back, and they're gonna go break into it. Vandalism, basically falls in the same category, or like Nancy was saying, if we have somebody, a resident that's very upset because a dog did something to a family member or a child, that's an opportunity, what we call a targeted opportunity for them. So they can go down there and they want to take some type of aggression toward that animal. It's harder to monitor than doing that. I'm getting close to the end on these. Our other issue is if we had it here, we have to have a veterinarian on call or a retainer or contract. So we'd have to set that up. That would be fees that we'd have to pay. That could be an issue also. Having them come out, whether it's the ones from Casey or somebody from Casper, we would have to figure that out. To return a dog to an owner that's not registered, it's going to require shots. Or if somebody wants to adopt one, it's going to require shots before we can do that, which means, again, we have to get a vet out here to take care of that, or take the animal to a vet, pay those fees, and be done with that. Or if it's if somebody's wanting to adopt an animal, we may have to look at the rehoming needs, like spay or neutering of the animal, of unclaimed animals and things like that. So we have basically, thought process is James would become, as part of his code enforcement, he would become our animal control person, but he's one man. So we have to keep that in mind, that we don't have a backup for him. I don't feel that we can ask our current staff to fill that void. And if James isn't available or goes on vacation, things like that, I think it puts another burden on us trying to figure it out. That's basically the pros. I only have a few cons, so I'll go over those now. Again, we have to transport the animal to Metro. In the case of cats, we'd have to go back and get the cats and bring them back. So transporting stuff would be on us. We'd be paying that fee of $3,200. Like I said, I don't feel that's as bad as it was when it was $6,200. And now that I know we have funds that we can get to for it, I don't feel as bad about that. I know everything that we do is really money driven, and unfortunately, I know that affects the community too. They look at that and say, well, okay, the town's first deal is money, and then it gives the appearance that that's our big stopper no matter what, and we're not looking further past that. And I want to be able to do that. With the Metro, so if we take them an animal and it requires, this is the cons, and it requires some type of medical action on it, there's a lot of stuff that Metro does on their own, and they wouldn't hit us up with that. But if it's something they have to get a vet on, they would contact us, let us know. They would have a vet do whatever they need to do, and that vet would charge us directly for that. So it's an extra cost to us that we'd have to keep in mind. It could happen. They said it's seldom, but that's something that we'd have to deal with. So a big one here that we have to keep in mind is if we went with Metro, it's an annual renewal. And if we ever opt out, like say we sign up with them and do 1 year, we do 2 year, we do 3 years, and we're deciding, okay, we're not giving them any animals, this is a waste of money, we opt out. Their policy is once we opt out, we cannot opt back in. So it's a one-time, take it all or nothing. So we gotta keep that in mind. And I talked about court holds already about that $40 to do that. But that is, in a nutshell, what I found out from Metro and added my own 2 cents into it to make sure that we basically cover our bases and have a better understanding of, you know, whether we do it locally or if we outsource to Metro. I see Metro, I didn't before, I was not in favor of doing Metro, basically because of the funding. But after listening to them and brainstorming with myself, you know, for 2 days, I actually like this idea because it takes a lot of heat off of us. But I think if we set it up here, it may work for a short time, but I think there will be a point of failure at some point because we just don't have the resources to maintain it long term. That's my 2 cents.
Well, for the old dog pound we have down here, you already said if we opt out of this with the Metro, we can't get back in.
Right.
Do we look at something as spending our, Ray says, we figured around $1,000 or less, or right around $1,000 in parts to get this up as a temporary fix until we can decide what we want to do. Now, how many times did Jamie tell you you used Metro in 5 years?
Used them 4 times in 19 years.
Well, that was only.
Well, wait, we gotta work on average here.
Well, you got to keep in mind, we only had a contract with them for a couple of years.
I
And that was back
understand.
in the early 2000s, where they charged us per dog. They didn't charge us an annual, they charged us per dog.
I understand.
That was in 2000, I think, 2003, if I remember right.
I understand that, I did talk to Mr. Jones too.
So we haven't had anything since then. But
Exactly. But if we look in, can we, instead of just jumping on something right away and our first offer from Metro and going through all the Metro stuff, could we possibly look into spending the less amount of money, bringing up that dog pound for now and be able to spend more time seeing if there's other options? I know we looked at Metro, I know we looked at the local pound. Are there other options out there? We don't know. We have a community that wants answers now.
They do, yep.
You're looking at, I mean, if over a 5-year period, we'll say we pick up 3 dogs, you're looking at $5,000 a dog. I know you don't want numbers in there, but
No, you're
I'm
absolutely
looking
right.
at $5,000 a dog. You said we have funding from the cooling pond money. We could use that money to pay somebody to take care of the animal.
Well, we can't use it for salary. That's not an option.
Okay,
So,
but we
yeah,
can use it for maintaining our stuff.
right.
We can use it for bringing it up to what we have. I'm new here, so I'm
I'm
trying
with
to
you.
learn this.
Yeah,
So we're looking at 0.39 percentage of what their cost is, right? And then it works out to the 31 or $3,200.
$3,200. Roughly, yeah, give or take a couple dollars. Right, but what they're talking about as far as additional costs, if something breaks, they're minor things, washing machine or things like that.
So what-
Are big ticket items, I guess.
So what do we do at year 3 when we have not used them?
So,
And we've had put this money in, and we sit here as a council and go, is it worth the money?
right, and we could look at it like this.
We have to look at that both ways.
So,
I have an idea.
Okay.
Because,
and I,
you know, the dogs down there have been getting cats. Dogs are domesticated, I get, but they also are pack animals, and they do have a bloodlust, and so my concern, and it might not happen, but it could, is that they move, because the kids are quick, and they might move from the cats to children. And so that, the 3,200 would be a drop in the bucket compared to a lawsuit against us for not protecting the child.
Why are we not protecting the child if they're in a pound? It's the same difference. We have it behind the fence, they have it behind the fence, you're just transporting it to another town.
I think what you're talking about is how long would it take us to get this in place?
Right. That's
Because
one
it's
of my
not,
concerns.
it's not just the, well, you gotta.
So let's look at the logistics of it, other than making sure what we have to do legally, time-wise we're looking at, other than getting equipment, you're looking at less than 2 weeks of labor. It is all there.
In
But
2
we don't
weeks, we
have
have
a-
a tragedy. I just,
I am.
I have a really hard time knowing that there are children out there. I wasn't attacked Friday night, but I was threatened by, and it wasn't even these,
I
it
know,
was on by
you
house, by
have
house.
to remember, we can't bring emotions into this. We have to do this.
No, I'm
as
just saying it
decision for the town.
happened. It's not
I know,
hearsay,
I
I'm
know,
telling you.
I'm not accusing you of hearsay.
So, one of the things that we should look at is, where do we go with this? Okay, so we could fix up the pound, I understand that.
Within 2 weeks.
Yeah, but our issue is not really the, well, it is the pound, 'cause we do have to find all the other logistical support for it. How do we deal with water, how do we deal with electricity, how do we deal with security, that kind of stuff, that's gonna take longer. But not even talking about the pound, the problem that I already see just from the research that I've done is getting rid of the animal after the 3 to 5 days. The other counties don't wanna work with us because we're not in their county, we're not in their jurisdiction. So it's not like we can say, all right, we're gonna take our dog to Gillette, we're gonna take our dog to Sheridan or whatever. They won't deal with it, just like Casper won't, because we don't have any type of setup with them, they're in a different county, and that's where we're in problems. And then I reached out to, like I said, these nonprofits or privates. They don't wanna deal with the same deal just because they're more they'll take animals from owners kind of thing. They don't wanna deal with municipalities for the most part, because they're just not more involved. So that's where we're running into problems with them. They don't have, a lot of them don't have the space, even if we're not even dropping that much off. One of the selling points I like about Casper that I don't wanna overlook is, yeah, how often does this happen with dogs? I mean, it only takes once, don't get me wrong. You know, one bad dog or 2 bad dogs, we have bigger issues. But we also have an opportunity with Casper to fix our cat problem, and we do have a cat problem. You know, it's not, cats aren't, don't give me, they're not aggressive like that, but population-wise, we have an opportunity to get our entire population of cats fixed. They were telling me that they did over 200 cats in one day in Casper. So we have that opportunity there too that I don't want to overlook. So kind of the feel of, okay, we're not getting our money's worth from dogs, but on the flip side, we can get our money's worth with cats. And we're not, people love their cats, even though a lot of the cats in town are feral, people treat them as pets. We don't want the cats to start disappearing per se, but this gives us an opportunity to say, all right, hey, we're gonna pick up your cats, but we're gonna bring them back, and they're gonna be fixed, which makes them less aggressive. It makes them not steer away from home so far. There's some pluses to it like that. So I'd like to keep that in mind, that we have another way to kind of fill that void of spending the money where we don't feel as bad about it. Because I'm the same way with you. I'm like, how often is this gonna happen with the dog? Not very often, but we have kind of that opportunity to fix another issue that we may not recognize truly, but it's out there. But again, the one dog, it's worth $3,000 to stop a dog from attacking a child or something like that. And I was on your side of the table last week, but after doing this research, I'm like, I think we're ill-equipped to long-term take care of animals. But on the flip side, you were talking about, well, maybe we fix this up and look at Casper later. What about the option of looking at Casper now, getting our ducks in a row for a couple of years from now, and if we feel that we're at a good spot to flip, to do it locally, then at some point we can drop Casper. No, we're not gonna get it back, but we'll have a plan in place for here that we can continue on and have all the kinks worked out. So just something to think about, and basically what you said in reverse.
And you should take into consideration, if we do upgrade our kennels, or whatever you're gonna call that pound, you should take into consideration the monthly cost of the electricity and the water. because it's not gonna be free. We have to run everything down there, then there's the monthly bill that we need to take into consideration, because it might be less than paying Metro, might be more, we don't know.
And if we did have to.
So, we already brought to the table the budget from, or the money from the cooling pond. Why couldn't we use it for that instead of just Metro? You know what I'm saying?
The monthly.
That would be a monthly
The
cost.
electricity, the
Yep.
water,
Yep.
and, food.
Yep. Why couldn't we use it for that?
That could be an option. I just foresee that I think down the line, the problems we're gonna run into is, alright, so we pick up James as our animal control. And a year from now, he's like, I'm ready to retire, I'm done. And we can't fill that void, we're back to square one. Yeah, we've got everything set up, but we don't have animal control, nobody wants a job. Or if, like I said, if he's not around, we do not have a backup for him, we don't have funding to have a backup for him. I just see, maybe not immediately, but I just see failure down the line at some point.
There's
That's
failure,
not- that's
yeah,
not
there's
the same.
failure either way. With Metro, we don't, if he's not here to catch the dog, what is the point of having Metro?
Metro's not
Because
gonna
Metro's
Right,
not
they're not
coming
gonna
unless
come,
they
right.
cost
come.
us
So you're
more money.
still gonna have
That's
a
a
problem.
good point.
So that part is mute, because it goes both ways.
It does,
And
yeah.
then if you only use them once or twice a year, you're still got this $3,200 coming out of the county's budget
I don't think,
for
Deep-
one dog
yeah.
a year.
no, deep down, I don't think us trying to do it locally, that we can have it in place as fast as it needs to be. I think we're looking at months, not weeks. I think we're looking at months, several months. Unlike Metro, we have it in place by the end of the week. And start taking care of the issues that we're already having. And I get that we don't use them very often, I do know that. But having, 4 dogs in basically a 2-week span,
I know we have an anomaly that this happened.
and it may be.
And I feel for the community, I feel for the people that it affected.
Right.
But I think we need to slow down, look at our options. And our options at this time, we have 2 that we've looked at.
Well, we have more that I've called around on that weren't feasible.
We brought 2 to the table tonight.
Right.
So only way you're looking at it, even though you've looked at the other ones, you're looking at a decision for this week, is what you've already stated.
I
So
am, yeah.
we're looking at 2 options,
Right.
okay?
Because that's all
So
I
the
have.
other ones are off the table at this moment,
Well, I'm just not
unless
getting
we
good
say
feedback.
no.
I'm not getting good feedback about those options.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
that's the issue I have is nothing, any other options. So all these options here that I have on the paper I gave you
Yeah.
are not feasible or not rectifiable any timely manner. The doing it here locally, could we get it done? Yes, I just see a lot of hiccups in it between finding a vet, because we still gotta get rid of the animal. And I think that's the problem we're gonna have. We hold that animal 5 days, what do we do with it? Metro's not gonna take them, Humane Society will not take them.
Yeah, we weren't asked to look into that, Ray was asked to look into it.
No, yeah,
Facility.
and that's what I was
I
doing.
assisted him with it, is what I'm going with. We have not even looked into that option.
And that's what I was doing.
And that was well before we had all this other stuff
Yeah,
that is come up, and don't get me wrong, that's all good. It looks good, but I'm just thinking, that'd be $3,200 if the town's gonna be paying that.
I
We
think,
might not use them that much.
but I think we're gonna be spending $3,200 a year on,
And then if we-
on a thing that's gonna become a logistical nightmare anyway, so I don't see the upside of, okay, we're drowning, we're spinning our wheels, we're spending $3,200 locally, instead of, we're dropping them off and being done
Do
with
we
them.
got the funding to keep doing that, to pay for them if we're not gonna use them for that many years?
I mean,
Yeah, but we're not gonna use them here either, but
So-
this gives us the opportunity, because if we go this route, one of the things that's gonna come out for sure is we're not gonna deal with cats.
I understand that.
Right. So that,
But we have to look at where our money's gonna go, how we're gonna spend it. Are you looking at a facility that we're gonna put $2,000 in, whatever? I know we said around 1,000, 1,200, and it sits there unused. Say we don't have another dog issue until next summer. It could happen, it could not happen. And that we put 1,200, now we can save the rest of that money and decide at that point whether we can, the cat thing can wait a year. Not that we all want it to,
No,
but can we look at something to save us money and determine long-term what we wanna do? That's where we have to look, we can't just jump.
So we get into this with Metro, and we use them for these 4 dogs right now, and then we don't use them for 2 or 3 years or
Right.
whatever. So then we're paying out all this $3,200 a year for nothing.
And then we decide not
Then
to.
we decide to back
Yeah.
out, and then we're screwed.
And I'll say it as, we'll call it end of your term, new mayor, why are we spending this 3,200? And he didn't know that, hey, well, it's off the table, because nobody put that in the note. I mean, I have to look, we have to look at long term, we
Well,
all
that's-
live here.
that's what I'm doing too, and that's why I would suggest, like, I think we need to spend $31 now and look at down the road, seeing if we can logistically support it here, and at that time, we can drop out of Metro. I don't think we're gonna have a plan in place in the next several months if we try to do it ourselves. We don't have the knowledge how to do
And then
it.
at that point, when we do think we're logistically ready for it, and then what if that failure happens and we have no backup?
We don't, so we have to look at that risk.
We don't have an ace in the pocket.
And we can't go back. So now, we're so deep
Yeah.
that this problem that we're dealing with
Now we're back
here,
to this point with
and we start over.
no ace in the pocket.
I think we're hurting the community by not taking some action now, because we're not gonna have, I truly feel from the homework that I did do, and don't get me wrong, it's not everything, that we will not have a plan in place to be able to take a dog, even a vicious dog, over the next 6 months, because it's gonna take us at least that long to get, I'm not talking about down there, but to get a vet that's gonna support us, figure out what their costs are gonna be. Are they gonna want a monthly fee whether we use them or not?
That we don't know at this
Yeah.
time.
Or are they even, a lot of these vets, they're not gonna take animals because they don't have the process to take them, or to keep them, or to rehome them. To give you an example, my wife used to work for a veterinary clinic down in Colorado, and they would not euthanize animals because of the effects it had on their staff. So we're gonna run into problems like that.
Was it last work session, or you gonna talk to the vet up in KC?
She never got back to me.
Okay. I just wanted to cover that point.
Right, yeah, no,
I understand it's gonna come back to you, but that was brought up at the last work session.
Yeah. I think that's what we're gonna run into with, like, this list that Travis Hart gave me is, it just seems like a lot of pushback from these nonprofits or smaller entities and stuff like that.
So, do we have an ordinance on the books on what to deal with animals at this time? Is there something in the ordinance for us to, other than just find the people, is there anything in there about being able to take the animal? That is my question.
Yeah, but we don't have a place to take them.
I just, cause, okay, so we're halfway there.
Okay.
We can take an animal.
So, let me take a look here.
That's my question.
I'm with you.
So that part of,
Let's make sure here.
yep,
All right, yeah, it says dogs or cats not redeemed by anyone in the allotted time shall be disposed of in the most humane manner available at the time of such disposal.
Okay.
So we'd have to dispose of the animal.
Understand.
And we don't have the, it talks about the humane way to do it. We don't have that portion there.
that is a logistic we would have to find a vet.
Right. I bet it's willing to do.
I just said, we just had to find a vet, we don't have to say that part of it, we just have to
But
find
yeah.
a vet, we already know what it's for.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that is a cost that, we could look at possibly coming from that cooling pond fund. Because how often are we gonna use it? This is not something we're looking at doing weekly or monthly. I understand we've had 2 major incidents in 2 weeks. I believe that we have to pay attention to what's coming for the community. I want everybody to feel safe. We have code enforcement. We have nowhere to take the dogs at this time.
Right? So
That's whatever.
also keep in mind another issue. I know we're focused on vicious animals right now. But we gotta keep in mind that we also have several animals that aren't licensed, registered in the community, that get on the loose, that would have to be taken somewhere.
Again, that's why I said we need to slow down. I think we need to slow down and look at our options. I don't think we need to knee-jerk and jump.
This was brought up 2 years ago, it's my understanding, and tabled. And so it was left 2 years ago on the table and it
And I
never
think
came
we're headed
back.
down the same route.
That's what
I knew, I was not out of
At 2
council.
years
Right,
ago,
I wasn't either, I was not part of the council, I just was talking, you know, and I was here and this is what happened. So,
I don't wanna see this pushed down the line and then something happens.
right,
I mean, there's these
Yeah.
animals, these 4 animals, I'm assuming are still around. So could this happen again and we don't have a plan in place and all of a sudden, we're the bad guys because we didn't,
We're already the bad guys.
well, we are, but we can
We have
nip,
nothing in play.
we can nip it in bud.
But my thing is, I think we need to see what's best for the community financially and promote safety for the community. Okay?
Well, I agree, I don't think we're hurting financially because we have a plan. I realize what you're saying, it's throwing money out the wind. I get that portion of it, but
It's like having insurance.
it is, but we're mitigating the risk to the community by having something out there. Yeah, the money's gone, but we've taken care, we're able to handle situations immediately, right away, getting that animal out of the community, get it somewhere where somebody else is gonna take care of it, figure it all out, if it goes to court, they're gonna babysit that animal for however long
Are
it
we,
needs to be done.
are these animals supposed to be impounded at this point in time?
No, because there's no contract.
Okay,
That's the problem we're running into.
okay,
So the sheriff's department will not take these animals.
I understand.
And that's another part of why we're running this problem. So that's where we're at. So I know we're kind of circling now.
Here we are. I think,
We can't make a decision because it's a working session.
right.
But we can discuss it a little bit more tomorrow and see if there is an avenue.
Definitely, and I would like some of the community's input tomorrow on where they feel we need to be. I know we gotta worry about public safety, number one. But number two, we have to look at long-term for the town, not tomorrow.
I think we need to look at it for tomorrow. I really do.
But no, I feel that we need to have a work in progress.
I mean, I'm not acting on emotions. I'm acting on the best interest of the community, mitigating the risk. I don't know if everybody knows what that word means, mitigating, but it's basically, it's minimizing the risk to the community. I think that's where we need to be. But that's how I feel about it. It will ultimately be up to the council in which direction we go. I'm not sure if there's anything else we can talk about it with it, because we're kind of, like I said, circling
Right.
now.
other than doing some research to find out how much it's gonna take to run the electricity down there and the water. And then it's still gonna cost us money to, you know, and yes, you can turn you can shut the electricity off and, you know, not use the water and everything, but there's still gonna be a cost to put it down there.
Sure.
Does anybody have any alibis on this? No?
John, I think I need to hear some, like, community's comments
Alright.
tomorrow night on this.
Well,
If that works for everybody.
here's what I can do. I can keep it short and sweet. Working sessions are technically not for the community to speak. However, I have the authority to allow them to give input. I would say at this time, I'm gonna give anybody that wants to do their input, I will give you 1 minute to tell me your thoughts about what we've just discussed, okay? So just be clear, just 1 minute, that's all I can authorize for everybody to have an opportunity. And I realize you're a very small collection of the community, but it will help us get a better understanding of what direction we're headed in.
How many minutes do I get tomorrow night?
Do we get 3?
I'll take tomorrow night.
So you can do it tonight too. I'm okay with that. So I will give you 1 minute tonight and 3 minutes tomorrow night. Does anybody want to take me up on that?
Well, on the 1 minute, can you, at 45 seconds, just say, hey, warning, like your time's coming up?
I'll give you a wave when you're getting close.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so do I have any takers?
I'm gonna take it whenever someone else.
Eugene raised his hand.
Go ahead.
Eugene, go.
All right, Eugene, let's hear you out.
Right outside this window, a butchered deer. Right across from the fire station, 3 butchered deers. Years ago, I was attacked. I shot the ground, hit the animal, spent 2 weeks under investigation for self-defense. Wyoming law states if an animal harasses cattle, they are to be shot. Number 2, if any person has a stranger coming into their house, you are authorized self-defense. Now, who's going to do that? I will. And I say it publicly. If a dog comes at me, I will shoot, or I will hit it.
Let's focus on what our discussion was. Do you see a direction of what we've covered?
We need to have self-defense without repercussions in town.
Okay. All right, that's, anything else? Give you just a couple seconds?
No, that's it.
Anybody else? All right, Brian.
I'm 100% with the mayor's plan without being our own force. First of all, there'll be more salary costs, even if James handles it. There'll be a cost for people cleaning the cages, whatever, electric, water. You're talking about $8 a day. Tell Elmer that's too much who got attacked. Tell her who almost got attacked. My daughter back in Illinois was attacked by a neighbor's dog. In my yard, dog jumps up, bites the arm, bites the leg, and guess what? My town had it figured out. They don't delay maintenance and everything else like Midwest tends to do. So I call the police, they go, yep, call the county animal control, boom, bada bing. That dog was declared vicious because it bit my daughter. They go to my legal defense, just like here, they'll take care of business once it's handed over, like Rick said, it's off our plate in all kind of legal ways. So the dog was declared vicious, bam, 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 $500. They didn't shred her enough to get the dog put to sleep, but it had a $500 fine to be muzzled every time it ever came outside of its cage. But when it happens to the victim or the 20 cats or the 1 cat last year, Virgil's dog killed, and Midwest is now gonna play police force. It ain't gonna work. I'm for the mayor's thoughts and process on the plan.
All right, thank you, Brian. Anybody else?
Virgil's dogs are no longer with us. Somebody already
Amen.
shot them.
Amen.
So,
All right, Marcia, did you want a minute? I want to give it to you.
I'm up on the fence. I was around when the pound was open. But I also rescued a lot of dogs from the pound, along with a lot of everybody else. I'm with you on that aspect of my dog's in the pound, I'm gonna go rescue my dog. Or I'm gonna go down and take care of business because that dog attacked my niece that was walking down the street home from school. I'm gonna go take care of that dog because I know where it's gonna be. I don't think that the metro thing is a bad idea. I think if we had a better place that we could hold the animals, because who's gonna protect, and not that those dogs need protected, but who's gonna protect the people that are gonna go after those dogs? Does that make sense to me? Because if I go down and I shoot the dog, I'm gonna be in trouble.
No, self-defense.
No,
it's not about-
I understand,
No, just
I understand.
Yeah,
understand.
you know what I mean?
exactly. And
Because
Now, keep in mind-
anytime that I'm, my thing is the automatic, James would come get the dog, take it to Metro, it would be out of our town.
I
I'm
might not
seeing
have
that
been clear
point.
on that, so,
But I'm seeing that point of that I'm walking down Lewis Street, a dog jumps the fence, attacks me in the middle of the street.
that's an issue, right?
I call, obviously I'm gonna call 911 because who am I gonna call?
Right.
I'm gonna call 911. The sheriff's office is then gonna come out, maybe, and handle things,
More
Maybe.
than likely not.
maybe.
So,
45
all right, so
minutes.
that's,
I know.
that's your time, Marcia.
And can I
Um,
add to what Marcia just said?
Okay.
So, you know, you go down and you get rid of the dog, you know, you shoot the dog. You shot my dog. My concern is neighbor wars. Nobody ever wins them. So, you know, the back and forth. You know, you shot my dog. Well, your dog did this. Well, you still shot my dog. And then, well, I'll shoot your dog.
Well,
You know,
now we're on a whole nother subject here.
And something
no, we're
that
not.
maybe.
No, we are not.
Okay.
Absolutely, we are not.
All right.
The
Well,
whole thing is we need to get a solution.
correct. But now we're talking about somebody shooting somebody's dog, and I understand emotions.
This isn't emotion. This is reality. The
No,
dogs
no,
are
no.
down here. We live in Wyoming. How many of us have pistols, rifles, every kind of thing in their homes?
Just like birds.
All right. So,
The mentality is here.
I'm not sure if, Marcia, this is directed to you, I mean, I might not have made it clear, but overall, 99% of our dogs in this town are gonna make it back home. We will not be taken to the pound. If a dog gets out, that dog's recognized, it's not a vicious dog. James recognized that dog that belongs to so-and-so, he's gonna
Yeah.
take it home. It's not, we're not gonna take every animal to
And
Metro
that's
just
what I was
because we.
meaning was the vicious dogs that just attacked me. But who am I gonna call? Who am I gonna?
Well, you have, we set, that could be part of our process here alone. Now that we have a place to take the dogs, we can set up a process to who you would call to have James run out and take care of it.
Whether or not they're here or somewhere else, we're looking at the same person picking up the animal.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
that would be the person we would call, whether they're going to Metro. So what happens when, we're just gonna put an easy one out there. What happens when my dog gets out and she's licensed?
Right.
But just to say, James doesn't know where she goes and nobody notices whose dog it is and he has to take it to town. Now I have to go to town and pick up my dog. Where if it was here, we could arrange something and it's here. We
Well,
also have to look at the aspect
no,
of availability.
I can foresee that we actually, and.
It's gonna happen.
Part of spitballing is, you know, James finds a dog, doesn't recognize it, it's not vicious. He can go on these social medias and say, here's a picture of this dog right here, does anybody claim it?
All right.
And we get an answer within a reasonable amount of time, great, that dog
James
goes
is
back, if
busy,
not,
and
if
James
not-
is busy and can't haul the dog around with him, where do we put it?
Then it goes to Casper, newsflash. The owner's responsible.
yeah.
Newsflash.
That's a big part of
Your
it,
dog
too.
got out, you're responsible. Whether it's the broken fence, this, that, or the other,
All
it's
right.
still your responsibility.
Thanks, Brian.
Where does the dog stay while we're waiting for the person to respond?
We work that out. What do you mean? What person?
Okay.
so-
Try to find
Okay,
out
hold
more.
on, slow down. Reed, I'm gonna give you a minute, go ahead and explain yourself,
Okay.
take a minute.
Well, I guess I'm not up to date as to what exactly happened to the dogs that attacked the people or supposedly attacked, or whatever. I don't know. But who caught the dogs? Were they caught? Where did they go? And where are they now?
Right now, they are because we don't have anything set up, it falls under the sheriff's department, so whatever action they took or didn't take is on them, because we can't react to it, because we don't have a process in place,
Okay.
so.
So if my dog got out and James picked it up and I'm up on the mountain for a week, Does the dog stay here in this building? Does he stay in his truck? Does he stay?
It's gonna be situational. If he knows it's your dog and where you live, he's gonna put it in your yard, because he knows it's not vicious, it's a little cute thing that you pet and stuff like that. But it's the deal, I don't know if you follow Facebook right now, when somebody's dog gets out, somebody's neighbor's taking a picture of that dog, and somebody's recognizing that dog, and it's not just our responsibility, it is our responsibility if we have the system, but we have residents that are willing to take action to make sure that dog makes it back home, which is great. So it's a
That
give and
is
take.
the statement. We have residents who are willing to take action.
Alright, so do I have anybody else that, wants to-
I
Thanks, Rita.
relinquish my.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have a couple of comments if available.
Alright, give you your opportunity, your 1 minute.
One of the things that came to mind talking about our facility down here local, we put a camera up, we're gonna react. We're not gonna be proactive. If somebody decides to come down there and take matters into their own hands, it'll be too late.
It was too late when the dog got out.
It was too late when the
it
dog got
attacked
out.
somebody.
I agree with that. But we are setting those dog owners up for failure by not protecting. It's our responsibility to protect that dog.
Sure.
We're not doing that. A camera isn't gonna do any good. We're gonna be able to see who it was that did it, but we're not gonna be
Sure,
able
and
to
then,
stop them
and
from doing
legal
it.
actions will be taken against that person, whether it is jail time, fines, or whatever. You have to realize that we are a society that can happen no matter where that animal is.
I agree.
So you have to look at it as, if we're on top of this and we don't have a vicious dog problem, which 2 weeks of incidences has caused an uproar in the town.
Yeah, it's,
But before that, we didn't have a major issue. I've been here for 3 years. We've had 2 dog incidences that I know of in 2 weeks, possibly more.
No, that's not true. We've had other incidences. The issue is
What are we gonna
residents
do?
aren't coming in filling out complaints.
There's-
Because I've already been contacted by several that said, this happened to me last year, this happened to my child last year. So it's out there, they're not reporting them, so.
But we
there's a lot
had
going on.
nothing in place.
A lot of keyboard warriors out there.
Right, yeah, so.
We have to look at all of our options.
Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around the table here and give everybody a chance to, any alibis, and then we're gonna close this out for this subject, and we'll move on to the next one. You have anything else, Nancy, for today? Okay. Dennis?
Nope, I just wanna hear everybody else's, I wanna hear the town comments tomorrow,
Alright, Ray?
before I make any decisions.
Well, I think it's a good idea. I'm just, I'm looking at the financial part of it.
I think we gotta get
it's
past
a
that.
good idea because it takes it out of our hands and it will give you an instinct to protect the communities and that. I think that's a good idea as far as that, but do we got the funds to keep doing that $3,200 a year?
And we do, that's what I did my research with
Not
Sally.
break into something else that the town needs, like
These,
repairs to the rec center or something like that. I mean, like
That's the one thing I
That's
did
my
too.
main objective there.
and that's what I did with Sally, is make sure that this is a revenue that we can always dip into, that we can dedicate to, that we always get. So it is funds that will always be available, because there are revenue coming out of the community. Alright, so at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and close this portion out, and we're gonna move on to another subject, alright? Give me a minute to get my thoughts straight.
Did you see pictures of the Czechoslovakian lady?
Alright, so the other thing that we have on our agenda that we're gonna deal with is property liens for a certain thing. So we have, several people in town have liens for various reasons. It's kind of all over the board. But right now, we have an individual that has approached us at the last council meeting and asked if we'd waive, some liens he has on his property from the previous owner. And basically I've got the email here, but basically what it is an individual bought a house here in town. Went through the title company, they did all what they're supposed to, but the title company never notified him that there was an outstanding lien on the property from the
It's
previous
probably,
owner.
it's probably on the prelim,
So-
but people skip right over it. And I can say this honestly because I worked in mortgage loan for decades, and I read a lot of those, the prelims. It does show up. They may have missed it, but more often than not, it does show up.
Okay.
And that's why when you buy a property and you don't have that cleared, you inherit it.
Right, so this individual did inherit it without knowing, he followed through, bought the property. He's been working on the property steadily, making very good progress and improvements. I've even seen his property. So the lien was against it for vegetation only, nothing else. And the reason that we're bringing this up is he asked if we would waive this lien. It's in the amount of $451.10. So he's asking if we waive it just because he was never made aware of it. He's adding to the community, trying to clean stuff up. He does understand that if he's got to pay it, he's got to pay it, and he will. He's not saying that he won't pay it. He's very willful on which way he has to go. He'll do whatever he has to do. He's fully supportive of that, but asked that we would waive it just because it came from the previous owner. It was vegetation. It wasn't any other thing that was like a willful refusal kind of thing. So he asked me to look into it and see if we're willing to waive it. So, and the reason that, you know, that's part of it. The only thing I see is it's vegetation. It's nothing crazy. It's from a previous owner. He didn't know about it, and where was I going with this? Just lost my train of thought. Give me just a second here. Totally lost my train of thought. But basically, that's it in a nutshell. Oh, I know what it was. So, and in the past, we have waived fees for the same kind, exact same thing. We've done it in the past with other residents that had already showed that good faith effort to take care of stuff, betterment, and all that, without the knowledge that there was a lien hanging out there. So a precedent's been set, even though we do not need to adhere to that precedence. But we just wanted to bring it up and discuss it. So tomorrow we can look at which way we want to go with it. Council, you know, voting on yes, this person has to pay it, or no, we're going to waive it. So that's kind of where we're at. So.
It's my recommendation that we waive it to show good faith, for one thing, and also he can use that money for the betterment of his house, which in turn betters all of our homes by having it not look abandoned or whatever. That is my recommendation. It's really easy to let it, you know, it's not gonna cost us much to release the lien. Filing fees.
What about you guys?
I think we have to be careful with that, because then we're gonna look at people in the community that do not care for their stuff, that we had to mow their stuff. And they're gonna say, well, who let that guy go?
No, he just
Well,
bought the house,
wait,
that's my
wait,
thing, he just bought it.
Wait, let me finish. You have to be careful, because there's gonna be people that are gonna try to take advantage of that.
Right, and we have to weigh that, was he naive about it, or was there a willful refusal to do it?
Exactly.
And that to me is how we need to weigh it either way. You know, whichever way we go, we need to keep that in mind. A willing refusal or naivety because he didn't get the information he was supposed to.
So by example,
Yeah.
if I purchase a property that's got thousands of dollars worth of mowing liens, because nobody's had it for 10 to 12 years, are you gonna do mine too? Are you gonna do Ray's? He
We
did.
would have to look at it, yeah.
I mean, we really,
I'm just bringing it up, this is on you
We
guys.
really have to, yeah, we really have to be careful with that. We've already put the labor into it. Do we do it with a clause of if you have any property fines, it comes back within X amount of time? Can we look at it that way? Say we say, okay, we'll waive it, but if you have any violations within X, can we reinstate it?
No. Once we release it, it's
Oh,
released.
If we waive it and reinstate the.
No, it would be, according to everything that we have, it's a do or
done.
kind of thing, yeah, so, no, I'm with you, I just wanna make
But
sure.
as if you bought a house in Casper, bar none, Mills, Evansville, if you do not do your due diligence,
It's on
you
you.
pay it.
So we gotta keep that in mind, absolutely, no, I get it. What about you, Ray?
I'm gonna have to go with Nancy on this. He's done a lot of improvement down there compared to the house to what it used to be. Like, it used to look like just.
It did. He's done an amazing
it was
job.
horrible. And I'm gonna have to say, like, I agree, we gotta be careful with it because you have people that are saying, well, you did it for him, wants to do it for me, but
But we gotta look at that. Willful-
with the improvements that I've seen just within the last month, I think it'd be best to waive them and just go for that
Well,
one.
I would say, there's really not much to discuss with this, we just keep in mind willful refusal or naivety, is that the right word, not knowing, okay? And think about that. Tomorrow, I'd like to bring this up to the council for a vote, and, just, you guys can vote which way you feel is appropriate with this. I don't think we need to put a lot of thought into this, because this is really on each one of us to make our own decision.
No, I just wanna make sure we round out points.
Right, no, and that's the key right there, cause you're right, we gotta look at, somebody that's just absolutely refusing to do something compared to somebody that just got caught off guard. So, that's kind of it. Do you guys have any other issues about that?
No.
Alright, let's go ahead and close this out then. At this time, I am gonna close the, working session. Thank you for coming.